Bitcoin versus Ethereum. How are they different from each other, and which one should you be buying in 2019? All of that and more in this video, coming up. Hey, it's John, your personal guide to crypto. And on this channel, we do a lot of cryptocurrency reviews, as well as tips and strategy videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And be sure to check the YouTube description down below in the show notes section, because all of the links and resources we cover in this video will be right down there, including discount codes if you're looking to buy some Bitcoin or Ethereum, as well as links to the best Bitcoin and Ether hardware wallets if you're looking to step up your crypto security, which I recommend you do if you haven't already. And quick disclaimer before we dive in, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just my own thoughts and opinions about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you should come to your own conclusions before making any investment-related decisions. And with that out of the way, let's hop into the video. So I've been living and breathing cryptocurrency for 5 years now. You know, not just as an enthusiast or an investor like most people, but also as a builder, building tools and services in this space, such as Cheddar, the social network of crypto. And because I have done so much research on coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum for years now, I get this question all the time from my friends and family. They want to know what is the difference between these two, and then ultimately which one they should buy. And contrary to what most people think, I don't think Bitcoin and Ethereum are actually competitors. You know, at a very low level, they share one thing, that they're both built with blockchain technology, but that's it. Everything else from there is completely different. And saying that they're the same or that somehow they compete, in my mind, is like saying, you know, ExxonMobil is the same as Netflix, or that somehow they compete just because they're both companies. And it just doesn't work like that. You know, companies come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and they target different audiences, and they operate in different markets. You know, for example, Airbnb is going after the hotel market, and Uber is disrupting taxis, and Amazon's going after retail, and Bitcoin is disrupting money. In my opinion, the properties of Bitcoin, such as its limited supply, supply and demand economics, massive decentralization, censorship resistance, all of these things make it the king, the absolute king of payment systems and other forms of money that exist on the planet today, such as fiat currencies like the US dollar or the euro, or, you know, precious metals like gold and silver, or even other payment-based cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, Dash, or Ripple. And to understand why I think Bitcoin is king of payments, check out the Ultimate Bitcoin Review video that I posted, because in that video, we left no stone unturned. Everything you need to know about Bitcoin is in that video. So if Bitcoin is disrupting payments, then what is Ethereum disrupting? And at its simplest form, Ethereum is disrupting legal contracts, the things that we use today to bind people, organizations, courts, and even government-based institutions together. And this is because Ethereum was built with a different set of properties, most notably that it's a programmable blockchain. And what that essentially means is that you or I can actually write these smart contracts and build stuff on top of Ethereum. Literally anything from putting your last will and testament onto Ethereum, to building a decentralized Twitter, or even collecting these cute and rare little cats called CryptoKitties. I'm not even kidding. Ethereum's programmability, combined with its massive community and talented developers, and being first to the smart contracts market, make Ethereum the king of programmable blockchains such as Neo and EOS and Tron and Cardano. There's a ton of them. It's this difference in properties that set Bitcoin and Ethereum apart. Bitcoin is best in class at payments and being a store of value, and Ethereum is best in class at being programmable, extendable, the capacity to build things on top of it. And as Andreas Antonopoulos once said, think of Bitcoin like a tiger and Ethereum like a shark. Sure, if you were to take the tiger and bring it into the water, the shark is going to easily win that battle. But if you were to take that shark and drag it up onto the land, the tiger would easily win that battle. But when you sit back and allow the tiger to live in its natural habitat and allow the shark to live in its natural habitat, you realize they actually never come in contact with each other and they both win. So in 2019, I am not just buying Bitcoin and I am not just buying Ethereum, I am buying both because I believe they will both continue to dominate their respective markets and they will both win big in the long term. So the question shouldn't be which should I buy, but rather how much should I buy of each? Because at the end of the day, we all have a budget and you got to figure out how you're going to divvy it up amongst your investments. And in my opinion, the answer to this question all comes down to your personal risk tolerance. Personally, I believe Bitcoin is a safer bet because it's simpler. You can't build things on top of it. And while that initially feels like a limitation, I've actually come to realize that it's one of the key features of Bitcoin because it is so simple and limited in scope and it's just trying to solve payments. Bitcoin has a much smaller attack surface than Ethereum does, meaning it's less susceptible to bugs and attacks and hacks or other black swan events that could wipe out the network overnight. And while Bitcoin has been in the market for 10 plus years and it's battle tested, Ethereum, on the other hand, has only been in the market for about 4 years. It's not as battle tested and there's a lot more moving parts. Because you can build things on top of it, it's slower, it's getting clogged up a lot faster. And at the end of the day, the surface area of attack is just so much larger. It's more susceptible to bugs and attacks and those other black swan events that we talked about. And Ethereum has a long way to go in terms of solving these scalability issues, and there's going to be a lot of growing pains along the way as it becomes this global world computer. And because of that, there's a lot more risk baked into Ethereum, but I also believe that the potential upside on Ethereum is a lot higher because the possibilities of what you can build on top of it are theoretically endless. So Ethereum, in my opinion, is that higher risk but higher reward type of opportunity. And to quantify this line of thinking with some numbers, over the next 5 to 10 years, personally, I see a clear path on how Bitcoin could achieve a value of about $100,000 per Bitcoin. And to understand how I came to that conclusion, check out my 2021 BTC price prediction video where I went into detail on how I think that could happen. And if and when Bitcoin reaches $100,000 per coin, that would represent about a 30x gain compared to where Bitcoin is trading at today, which is about 3,500. So definitely not too shabby at all. But I also see a path over the next 5 to 10 years of how Ethereum can reach a target of about $7,500 per Ether, as more apps and infrastructure come online, as security token offerings get launched on Ethereum, similar to the crazy ICO boom that we had in 2017, and as Ethereum continues to solve its scalability troubles on the way to the release of Ethereum 2.0, or the Serenity release, if you've heard of that. And while again, 30x gains from Bitcoin is nothing to scoff at, if Ethereum is able to go from the current levels today of about $125 up to 7,500 over the next 5 to 10 years, that is a 60x gain, or basically twice the gained potential. But again, the path is squiggly. It is not as clear. There's going to be a lot of growing pains along the way. It all comes down to risk tolerance and can you stomach those squiggles and detours that Ethereum is inevitably going to hit as it strives to scale and become this global world computer. And for me personally, yes, I am willing to take on a little bit more risk for the potential of that higher reward. And it's because I'm young. I have time on my side. This is a long-term investment. I'm talking years, 3 to 5 years at a minimum for me. I've been in crypto for such a long period of time that while I've seen the highest of highs, I've also been dragged through the dirt. I've seen the lowest of lows. And I know that Ethereum will have these scaling and growing pains, as it strives to become that global world computer. And I know it's something that I can stomach, the detours along the way. So for every dollar I invest into crypto in 2019, about 50% of it is going towards Ethereum, and about 40% of it is going towards Bitcoins. There's a slight difference there because I am looking for a little bit higher risk for that potential higher reward. And that leaves about 10% left over for even higher risk but higher reward type opportunities, which I'll share with you guys in a separate video. So, question of the day. Which coin are you buying, or are you buying both? And what is your price prediction for these coins over the next 5 to 10 years? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Woo! Got it.